place, not something to predict, never knowing society's embrace, hardly remembering his mother's face. Just a boy without grace. Was he unhappy, or was he misplaced? But then he was touched by the gift of the void, never knowing it would leave him destroyed. Sacrificed his only life to willingly suffer the void's knife. Weaker and weaker Rel became, a young mind, a strange boy with a forgotten name. He wished the world would give him rest, but his existence remained suppressed. The cold face of his memories shielded by glass, broken and shattered, they began to crash. Rel soon met despair and desire, but was this his experience to acquire? Rel learned that within the void was flaw, beneath where no one ever saw. Rel would never be back to himself, just a boy trapped in hell, a secret not meant to tell. Songs of the Red Veil, Chapter 4, Verse 63. If you can hear me, you must know only one thing. We failed. The man in the wall remains unpacified. Rel was correct about its existence, but not about its magnitude. To attempt to repel or even banish the man in the wall would be like trying to hold an ocean with a thimble. Utterly impossible. But that is the essence of the void. What is the void? The emptiness of chaos manifested. There can't really be such a thing. How can there be nothing? It's impossible. You can't blame me for having trouble wrapping my head around an idea as complex and deeply infinite as the void. From a young age, we are taught that everything, even empty space, is created from protons, neutrons, subatomic particles. Empty space is always made from something else, but not the void. Some describe the void not as a place, but instead as spiritual enlightenment and/or liberation, as detachment from everything. Some describe entering the void as the moment one realizes that if you try too hard to understand, then you will miss the point, as the moment where man realizes that he will never be able to anticipate his fate or future. So man simply accepts his inability to challenge the universe, has the understanding that holding on is suffering and letting go is freedom. There is no way to truly talk about the void, about emptiness, because there is nothing tangible to be expressed in words. And yet our curious minds are so fixated on using dialogue to try and articulate this commodity. Words will always fail. Even if we could wrap our heads around this idea of emptiness, this complete and total lack of anything, comfort, love, hate, despair, joy, happiness, agony, all pieces of this complicated fabric known as existence, we would descend into the deepest and darkest of melancholies. The sudden moment of realization that non-being and being are one and the same, and that the only thing separating the two is the awareness of being aware, and the unawareness of being unaware would be too much to endure. The weight of realizing that nothing is everything, that we are nothing more than absolute zero, would prove to be the strongest link of all of these shackles of existence. What is the void? A gate into that which we don't know, or a mirror reflecting the bleak emptiness of our mortal souls? Perhaps Rel understood this, and so bound himself to a never-ending battle within the void against that which we do not understand, sparing us from its wrath. The question never came to me until Rel appeared one day within my dreams, whispering a single phrase over and over. Help me. Time is not on our side, but the others refuse to reveal the truth to outsiders for fear of what may come next. They've sacrificed our own disciples in an attempt to aid Rel in his hour of need, and yet Rel's strength continues to dwindle. For what reason do they choose to continue their unseen vigil? Pride? How pathetic. Pride is crucial and necessary, but pride causes pain. Pride is fear of losing one's edge, and in turn losing potential for gain. But do we really have an edge, or just a lackluster illusion? What feeling keeps us inside this self-sustaining delusion? Sometimes I wonder if, for just a day, I took all my pride and threw it away. If I said all the words I've ever thought to say, would my demons go away? If I stopped telling myself the world cannot see me without a mask, would that create a vision of openness while leaving vulnerability all in the past? I believe I'm strong and strongly convicted to my honesty. I'd rather lie wholeheartedly than admit I feel weak. Because remember that word, that strange hovering boulder that tells you to take your welcoming heart and make it turn colder. But what can we say when pride keeps us safe? Really, what can we do? Whenever I've tried to push it aside, I've felt things that, together, feel unglued. If the stakes don't matter, then pride is not a factor. We know what to bring. Yet we'll sit where we are, afraid to move for anything worth anything. But one day, Rel will be completely broken, mind and soul. When that day comes, nothing will be holding back the man in the wall anymore. And yet, I will not leave myself a victim in the hands of that which we do not understand. If you can hear me, you must know only one thing. We failed. Rel is weakening, and the man in the wall will come forth. I do not know what to do, and the others have either been lost to the weathering of time, lost to the temptations of sin, or lost in pursuit of solving that which is so utterly incomprehensible that merely attempting to understand it is enough to shatter souls. If you can hear me,